Hi everyone, this is Heather Groshinsky. This is the intermediate tutorial for Google Docs. So here I'm going to show you some just middle level tools that you can use within Google Docs. It's a little bit more advanced than the basic tutorial that you may have seen before this one. So I'm just going to show you some of the more advanced things that you might want to use for teaching. The first thing I'm going to show you is tables, how to add a table. I'm also going to show you how to add pictures. And then I'm going to show you how to share your document with other people, which you may already know how to do. And then last, I'm going to show you how to make a copy of it and talk about reasons why you might want that. So for the tutorial that I'm giving you today, I'm going to actually be making a lesson plan template so that each week I don't have to recreate my template. I can just use the same template over and over and just change what's inside the template. So what I've done first is I've opened up my Google Docs, as you can see on my screen. I've created a new document and I've already renamed it Lesson Plan Template. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to change my page setup because for whenever I use a table that has more columns than rows, I like to use the landscape instead of portrait because I just feel like it fits a little more nicely. But you can play around with it and decide what you want to do. I'm also going to make my margins a little smaller, but this time I'm going to make them 3/4 inch or 0.75 all the way around. And I'm going to leave the rest at the default settings and click OK. So you'll see now that my page has been turned and that I have the landscape positioning of my page on the screen. So now I'm going to add my table. The way I like to write my lesson plans out is in a table. It just makes it a little bit more neat and a little bit more organized for me. It's easier for me to read. So I'm going to add my table first, and that is an option right up here where it says table. And I'm going to insert my table. Now I want to have a column for each day of the week. And I also want to have a column that says the subject matter on the left side. And then I want a row at the very top that has each day of the week. So first I'm going to make Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'm going to need 5 columns, but then I need an extra column for showing the subject matter. And then I'm going to do the top row for days of the week, my second row for my first subject, which I teach science and geography. So in the first row that I've chosen, I'm going to put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Second row will be science, third row will be geography. And I'll show you what I mean by that when I get to it. So it's going to be a 6x3 when I am finished with it. So I am going to start by putting the days of the week in, and I actually want to leave this one blank for right now because I want to just add the days of the week, and there's only 5 days. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'm just going to type all my information in, and then I'll go back and change things later. Then I want to be able to have one for science, and I want to be able to have one for geography. So now you can kind of see where my information is going to go in. So whenever I'm looking at what am I going to do in science on Monday, it will go in this box. What am I going to do in science that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and so on. Now if you want to add some kind of title to this, like I know some people like to add the week of the year, so they can kind of look back. You can always go back up here and you can actually start typing. So actually I'm going to center this and I'm going to type lesson plans for the week of blank through blank. That lowercase. Okay. Actually, I'm also going to add on the left like so. This, since I'm going to make this kind of like a title, I'm going to make this a bit bigger. We'll go 14. Okay. Alright, so now I can add, I don't really like how that looks. We'll just go with that for now. You can play around with it, obviously. I try to play around with it till it looks exactly the way I want to. But that we'll leave for right now. Next, I'm going to put in the things that I need for my lesson plan. So I'm going to put in like objectives, and I'm going to leave a space for that. And then activities, and then maybe assessments. And I can do more, obviously, if I want to. And what I'm going to do is, instead of retyping that, I'm going to actually highlight it and copy it, Control C or Command C if you're on a Mac. paste it in with the Control or Command V, depending on what kind of computer you're using. And I'm going to do that for both science and geography, just to make it, oops, I copied an extra one there, but just to make it a little easier for myself. So there we go. So now I have that. Now what I want to do is I want to actually change some of my font within my tables, and it's the same way you would do that with any font in Google Docs. So I just want to select my days of the week because I'm going to bold those, and I'm just going to center them so they look nice. Okay. I am also going to select these, bold them, center them. I can also change line spacing here if I want to. I'm not going to do that right now. But if I right click on this or command click, I can also have some options here. So I can get rid of some columns and rows. I can add columns and rows. I can comment on it. And so on. So I can also look at table properties, which is also going to give me some additional options. So my border, I can change the color and the thickness of it. Okay, 1 point is going to be your standard, but if you wanted a little thicker border, maybe go with like a 1.5 or a 2.25. Okay, this is where I can set specific widths for my columns and rows. I'm not going to do that because obviously the information inside of those changes every week, so it could change the size of the columns and the rows. So I'm just going to let that be an automatic thing. And then vertical alignment and table alignment is what I wanted to show you. So I can center both of these, and what you'll notice with just the ones that I've highlighted, it actually put them right in the center for me, and that looks really nice because now there's an equal amount of space all the way around the words. The other thing I'm going to do is this box right here, this specific cell. I'm going to select just that cell, and I'm going to actually fill that cell with a gray color since it's a cell that I'm not using. So now my table looks pretty good. Now all I need to do each week is go ahead and add in my objectives, my activities, and my assessments. And you can go ahead and bold those once you start typing it in to make that a little easier to see. Any kind of formatting changes you can play with on your own. Okay, so now my lesson plan template is done. I'm now going to share that with somebody. For example, you might want to share this with a teammate that wants to use your template, or you want to lend them your template. So to share it with them, you're going to click the share button in blue in the upper right corner. And your options here are to change the access. So you can change this. You can make it public on the web so they can actually just search for it and actually find it without signing in. Anyone with the link, so that would mean you'd have to actually send them the link to that document for them to get it, but they won't need to sign in. Portage School District, so that will only be accessible to the people that are in our school district with the @portage.k12.wi.us domain. And then people in the school district with the link. So again, they would have to have the link for that. Shared privately is only people that you specifically put that in. So I tend to do that one for the most part. And then down here you can invite people. So obviously I'm listed here. I'm the owner of the document, but I can also invite other people. So I might share it with somebody else. I'm going to share it with myself just to show you. And then you can choose what they can do. So do you want them to be able to edit it? If you want them to use the template, you probably want them to be able to edit it. But you don't want them to edit your document. So in this case, I'm going to just have them view it. Okay. And then you can notify them by email if you want to add a message like, here's that document I was telling you about. You can put that in here. So I'm going to save that. Okay, done. And of course, it just shows me. All right, so now I've shared it with somebody. Now, the next thing I'm going to want to do is I want to keep this template as just that, just a template. Because when I want to add to it next week, I want to be able to just come here and have it all blank and ready for me to go. So this is a lot different than in Microsoft Word. Now in Microsoft Word, once you had a document, you could start changing it and then go back and say File, Save As, and it would save it as a separate document without affecting your first document. But Google Docs is a little bit different here, so you have to be really careful. So if there's something like this, like a template that you don't want changed, that you just want to be able to come back to as the original document, you actually need to make a copy of this. So what I'm going to do, let's say it's the first week of school and I want to type in my lesson plans. Before I actually start typing, I need to go to make a copy. And this is kind of like your save as. The only problem is you have to do this first, because any changes that I make in here in the lesson plans template is going to save over the lesson plans template. So that will always be on there. So if I type in an objective, let's just say students will create a video, that is always going to be on here when I click this, and I'm going to have to every time go back and erase it. So when you want to use a template like this, like I said, before you even start typing, you actually need to do your file, make a copy, which is, like I said, your save as, and then it's going to automatically say copy of whatever the original is, but then you might say lesson plans week 1, okay, for the first week of school, for example. And you could share it with the same people if you want to, like if you shared it with your principal and they have access to your lesson plans, you can do that. So that's going to actually open in a new tab, as you can see on my screen. Now I can actually start editing. I want to make sure that I'm always careful that it's the exact file name that I want. Otherwise, if I go back here and start changing it, like I said, that's changing my template, and then I have to go back and erase. So if I want to say the week of, we'll just use this week, January 6th through January 10th. Okay, and then I can type in my objectives, my activities, and my assessment. And obviously you can figure that out yourself. And then I'm done. Okay, and now it's saving itself automatically. Okay, so although the automatic save in Google Docs is very helpful, it also makes it so that you have to make a copy of something before you can actually start typing it without overriding the original document. I hope that makes sense. If not, send me an email and I can try to explain it better. So that is how to create a template using tables. We have edited the tables, we've shared it, and we've learned how to make a copy. The last thing I'm going to show you is actually how to add a picture to your document. And you can add a picture to any kind of document. In fact, I can show you here. I can insert an image. When you get insert image, you can drag an image. So that's one option. You can also choose an image to upload. This is if you have something on your computer. And that's just going to bring this up where you can find pictures actually through your documents. I'm going to just use this little fun textbook picture. It's going to upload it. Okay. And it's going to put that here. And I can go ahead and I can edit this. I'm going to put it in the center underneath there. Okay. So if I want to view this, let me zoom out a little bit here so I can kind of see the whole page at once. So this is what it's going to look like. Ooh, fancy. Now I have a little picture. The other way you can add pictures is to insert an image again by URL. So if you have your URL, so let's say you want to use this one, in Google Images, you can click where it says View Image right here. And this actually brings up the link directly to the picture, not to the website with the picture. So then you can copy that, and then you can paste it. And if you give it a second, it's actually going to show you what it looks like. And there we go. Now it's quite big, so it's taking up a lot of space. So I'm going to need to resize that. And I'm going to resize that just like any picture that you would use in any kind of document. So there we go. So now I have my template. It's got my fun pictures on it, and so on. So that's the basics of how to create a table, how to add a picture, and how to share your document and make a copy of it so that you can use it as a template. I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at gershinsky@portage.k12.wi.us, or you can find me in the staff directory under middle school teachers. Thanks. I hope you learned something new today.